July 6th, 2026. We're back. It's been a couple days. 4th of July weekend kind of snuck up on me and stole all my time, but that's not even a proper excuse. There is no proper excuse. But it is what it is. We're back. We're going to get back to consistency, hopefully. Just got off of work. It's a long shift today, almost 10 hours. So we're back, though. We're back. It's Monday. We're back. Luke 22, the Bible recap. My day today also called for John 14, but I don't have time. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning before my driver's license test, and that'll be perfect. Yeah, you heard that right. Driver's license test. Finally. It's exciting. But yeah, let's get right into it. I know you like my shirt, by the way, too. Pretty nice shirt. Let's get right into it, though. Verse 3, I caught a pretty cool, interesting detail. I'll just read it out. It says, Then Satan entered Judas, surnamed Iscariot, who was numbered among the 12. This was when he was plotting to kill Jesus, talking to the council, the chief priests, right? That's a really cool detail that puts it into perspective why he did this, right? He didn't do this for his own self-gain. This was all a part of God's will. And in that God's will, Satan, even Satan, right? The fallen angel, the demon, he's a part of God's will, and he is. A lot of our spiritual warfare is all a part of God's plan for our lives, and it's really cool. So I thought that was an interesting detail. Luke, just all the time, just has these interesting details, man. It's so cool. He was a doctor, so you think, okay, he's smart, yeah, but also he's just a typical guy. He's not like a scribe. He's not any religious individual. Right? He's just a doctor, but he's also a doctor. So it's like you'll get this really complex, unique witness account, right? Eyewitness account, right? Yeah, I think. You'll get this really cool account by him due to him being a doctor. And it's like so simple. It's one of the easier ones to read. It is the easiest of the Gospels to read. It's a synoptic. Love that. I just love it. I love it. I think it's great. I love his gospel. I love his take. And I love the details. And that was a not fun, but interesting detail that I caught. Furthermore, we just kind of skipping through Jesus and his disciples with the Passover, the institution of the Lord's Supper, which, man, I love those the closeness. So powerful. So powerful. But something else I caught here. Gosh, the wind, man. I cannot. So annoying. The synoptics say the disciples had Passover Thursday evening. John says the Jews had the Passover, the remembrance, on Friday when Christ was killed, sacrificed, crucified, right? I wrote that down. I caught that. In my notes, it actually said, the synoptics all say that the disciples had the Passover on Thursday, which contextually is true. That's what they all say. And then John says that it was on Friday, but that was particularly the Jews. So the question that's brought up, which so many different takes, it's arguable, right? Why did the disciples have it a day earlier? You could say it's all a part of the plan, all a part to fit with Passover and everything. It's arguable, but that is interesting. I'm getting to the point with the research I've done, with the study notes from MacArthur, which I completely trust. I have no reason not to trust. I'm gathering that it was a Friday crucifixion, and with what is considered days back then, Greek, Hebrew, whatever, days, was an evening to a morning, then an evening to a morning, and an evening to a morning. It was 3 days, right? 3 days from crucifixion to the raising where he is back, right? That's 3 days. I'm just gathering I believe it to be what I've always believed it to be, which is Thursday Passover to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I have no reason to think it's anything otherwise. Moving on. Kind of random, but just want to get that out. Because I know that's been kind of the topic of the order of events and the days attached to events. But verse 38, this was interesting. Christ was talking about swords as in supplies, right? For when he's gone, when they're going to be sent out. He talks about swords, and he means swords as protection. They take swords to mean aggression. They're not on the same page. And it was, I'll read the verse. So they said, the disciples, that is, Lord, look, here are 2 swords. They thought they were ready. So they thought, right? And Christ says, he said to them, it is enough. Meaning, like, stop that talk, right? They thought he meant swords as in aggression, like fighting. And we'll see here in a couple verses with the betrayal and the arrest, right? Clearly they did think it aggression because they cut off the servant of the high priest's ear. Christ obviously healed, right? But they really thought he meant aggression, as in they were going to be sent out kind of like aggressors, right? Aggressors. And Christ was disappointed with that interpretation. And I think we can take something from that. We are meant to be the humble. We are meant to be the peacemakers. We are meant to be the salt and the light of the earth, right? Not aggressors. That is not the light. And that's definitely something to take away from this. That's what I wanted to take away from it. So yeah, moving on. Verse 43, 44. Man, this is a long video. Really powerful words, man. 43 and 44, where's that at? So this was really cool. It was the prayer in the garden. And when he was praying, when he was telling the disciples that they should pray as well, lest they enter into temptation, which they do, as they do not pray, right? Really cool picture. In 43 and 44, then an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. That's unique to Luke, by the way, which I think is awesome. Again, such a cool detail. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Then his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. So it says, like great drops of blood. I don't know if that is indicative of actual blood. I think the other synoptics do say blood, as in like he was in such a great distress and sorrow that he was actually sweating blood, which is wild to think about, but true. I don't know if it means that or otherwise. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But really cool picture there with the angel and all. Really cool picture. And then furthermore, Peter denies, and Jesus is mocked and beaten, which just brings such a terrible feeling, like deep down. It really does. I'm almost, I don't want to say desensitized, because it's not true that I'm desensitized to it, but I have heard the story so many times. Easter's come and gone so many times. I think we need to be careful not to be desensitized with the Gospels, with the story. And right here, verse 63, where they start beating and mocking him, and it only gets worse and worse. We cannot become desensitized to that. We just can't. So, yeah, all in all, that's Luke 22. Peace out.